Guys, what's up? Bomb93 here. New video for you today. Very glad to actually get back to work. Making quick YouTube videos explaining certain things that I think need to be said in the video game industry. We're gonna call this from now on the Bomb93 news. Although I will be circling around rumors, this is kind of where I'm just going to bring you what I think of certain news stories or certain rumors that have been circling around the industry for quite a bit of time. Anyways, recently, you guys know this. Most of you guys who are coming to my channel know the story already from people like Screw Attack, Review Tech USA. They both done it. They looked at a patent, a U.S. patent filed by Nintendo. So that way we could have, per se, a cartridge-based system. Now, this isn't exactly, it just didn't have a disc optical drive, so it possibly couldn't be backwards compatible with Wii U games as we know them on the hard disks. Now, I haven't plugged my Wii U, so I can't grab my Wii U tablet right now, but let's face it, my Wii U is a disc-based system. It's got a disk drive on it. The reason why they went to discs in the first place was because discs could store a whole lot more data on them than your standard cartridge at the time. Let's face it, the PlayStation 1 was a better console than the N64, although the N64 didn't have as many load times because of said discs, and they could store more space, even though Final Fantasy VII took a whole 7 games to actually fulfill. However, it was a lot better of an idea in the gaming industry at the time because discs could store more than hard drives. But the case is not there anymore because most games, if you're playing them on Blu-ray, a 128 gigabyte SD card can actually store more data on it than your Blu-ray. I'm sorry. The only difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray is because of the laser. Now, let's be honest here, they are different disc format, and Sony was originally the ones to produce, and they're making a whole lot of money right now. But I think this is going to be back to the way that gaming originally was. And let's say it, Nintendo's been still on the cartridge style, although not with their main console since the GameCube. They've still kept their cartridges going down even to the, oh my goodness, even through the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance originally hit store shelves when the when the GameCube launched. So the Game Boy Advance SP was hitting stores at the same time as the GameCube, and then the trend continued with the DS. It was still a cartridge-based system, although admittedly, if you didn't buy the cartridge, your load times would be a bit slower because you'd had to access the SD flash memory. Well, the DSi anyways, because you could download games on the DSi store, and holy crap, that was new. And then you can transfer that to either your system memory or your SD card memory. And I like the SD card memory a little bit more, and I'll explain that to you a little bit later because you can swap out SD cards, and you can put different settings on each SD card, and you can have different users on one DS. And it was just so much better. However, you do have your 3DS now, which originally stayed with the SD card format, and then you had to, later on, new 3DS, please. I hate the fact that you have to use a screwdriver to actually take the bottom off to get the micro SD inside of the system, but I felt that was necessary in order to get the job done. However, I would have liked to see like a pull-down thing like on the 3DS where you can actually access it very easily. Can't make everybody happy, Nintendo. I'm just sorry. But honestly, the fact is that we're getting 64 gigabyte, and we're getting up in those high gigabytes again with flash memory. And the reason why we wouldn't stay there anymore, like I know people who plug 128 gigabyte, those USB flash drives, they're not actually disks inside the flash drive spinning. They're actually like your SD card, which actually store information in a solid state format, like my computer, which has 120 gigabyte SSD. So flash memory is back. And you know what? I think with the Nintendo NX, and this has been a really they're trying to get this back, and they're wondering, okay, can we actually do what we think we can do with this? And the reason why they're, excuse me, Review Tech USA, I'm going to diss you for a couple of minutes. The reason why they filed that patent is so they can actually build it without having anybody insert on their patent. So they could build it and then test it, make sure it works. However, if it doesn't work, well, they're going to abandon the patent. The patents are filed just so that way, if they're doing some experimental stuff, like new things that maybe you wouldn't like to hear about, Nintendo, the reason why you would file a patent, maybe if you're doing experimental work, just to keep others off of you. Like, for example, if Sony was looking back to go into cartridges, or Microsoft was looking to go into cartridges for some odd reason, but let's know, Microsoft, they're always a step behind everybody, except for in the Xbox 360, when they were actually the best of that era. Even though the Wii was a really good console, it was just a bit gimmicky, and honestly, let's face it, the gimmicks of the Wii kind of ran out really quickly, although the system itself was really good. Trust me, I really like some of the Wii games. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, amazing. Super Mario Galaxy, really good. However, there are those cliche things where there's stuff that actually went wrong. And yeah, and I actually think that, that cartridges are coming back. Now, let's be honest, on computer gaming, you probably download all your games off of Valve anyway. You probably download them and put them on some sort of hard drive, whether it's standard state or solid state, which is flash memory, my computer, flash memory, or a hard drive disk, which is, again, a disk drive, but it stores in a different file format than a Blu-ray or a CD or a DVD. I can't believe I'm actually mentioning DVDs. Anyways, yeah, essentially you got the storage there, but, it's actually really good for the economy right now to go back to a solid state, although it might cost more in the end. The fact is, you aren't going to wreck that solid state, whether it's an SD card that you buy the game on, go to Walmart, pay $70 up front to buy a 64 gigabyte SD card with, I don't know, Super Smash Bros. NX on it. Only a Superstation, guys. Like, stay off my back, please. I'm not sure. Or Legend of Zelda NX. For all we know, that could be possibility coming up with this next Zelda game. It could be between the Wii U and the NX, or Star Fox Zero, or Star Fox NX, or F-Zero NX, which actually would make sense because of the GX. But anyways, that's another video. It makes sense if you went to Walmart and paid $80 up front for a SSD, or you just put your own SD, downloaded it off the server, kept it on that SD card, and then you could play wherever you wanted. So I honestly think times are changing, and sometimes they're in a good way, sometimes they're in a bad way. But I think the fact that the cartridge might actually be coming back is actually a good thing for the business. However, we need to, in order for this to actually work, we need to make sure it's going to work first. Let's be honest here, with the way the game industry is right now, Nintendo has been the only constant since 1983. With that being said, a lot of developers nowadays, Activision, who actually was the problem in the 1983 video game crash. So you can see where I'm going with this. Activision, they're going to start their own problem again of oversaturating the market. EA is going to try and follow them, and we're going to have an oversaturation. Sony and Microsoft are going to flop like nobody's business, and Nintendo will be the only constant left yet again in North America. To be honest, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but as much as I hate it, I want to see competition. I want to see a Sega and a Nintendo go toe-to-toe right after. I still have Sega Genesis. I know my buddy has a Super Nintendo. I played N64. I played Dreamcast games on my computer. And, they're very interesting. I actually like the style of most Dreamcast games, and it was a very competitive console at the beginning of its life cycle. That is compared to the PS1 and the N64. It was very competitive, and it really worked wonders against the 64-bit Nintendo 64. Now, when the PS2 came out, everything became outdated. Nintendo had to release a whole new console, and Sega just kind of fell in the background while Microsoft essentially took over their operations when it came console-wise. And if you don't believe me that Microsoft took over Sega, look at the controllers from the Dreamcast and because the controller schemes are a bit similar, but nothing too major. Anyway, guys, that's my time for today. Yeah, sorry I went off on a sidetrack for a bit, but yeah, my opinions on the cartridges, yeah, like they used to be completely different than they are now, and I think they're a better option in the future than your CD-ROMs. And I think Nintendo has a point, even when they're just experimenting, filing a patent, just to make sure Sony and Microsoft don't come right after them. Chillax. If this works for Nintendo, chillax. If this works for Nintendo, this is probably their next gimmick. Back to cartridges. Hallelujah. But I have a feeling it might work a lot better than right now what we're doing with Blu-rays on Xbox One and PS4. And you know what? If they can play 4K, so be it. And you know, I think it's really good economically wise. You can hire more people to start creating flash memory, and you can. I think this could work really good for Nintendo, and this could work really poorly for Nintendo, but also at the same time, we don't know exactly what's going on with the NX there, so just chillax, guys. I'm not Review Tech, and I'm not saying the NX is actually going to fail right now. Let's be honest, probably isn't, because people will buy it. And, I mean, the Wii U did sell 10 million units, but anyways, guys, I'd like to thank you for watching today. Yeah, I just got back. Darn ass lost again. If you want to check out any of my opinions on other stuff, go check out my other channel. I've been mentioning this every video, but, you know, I really want you to go check out Super Mustang 9. Go check out some of the other channels I watch on that channel. I'll give you all my subscriptions on that channel. Please feel free to check them out. I am following PewDiePie on that channel. I don't watch a whole lot of his videos, but, you know, it's kind of fun to watch that. The guy goof off sometimes. Anyways, I'm on Twitch now. Yeah, so I'll be playing Town of Salem with you guys on there. So if you feel free, come check me out on Town of Salem. Come check me out on Twitch. Same name. I'll be playing games. Town of Salem. Probably stream some Sonic Adventure sometime once I get my Xbox controller here. Yeah, well, I'll stream some games. Town of Salem, I know it'll be a certainty. Maybe some Microsoft Solitaire showing you how crappy it is. Anyways, and, you know, I might do a review of Windows 10 on this channel. Well, we'll see, because, you know, that might be a review for Super Mustang. Might be a review. And I'm hoping to get more of car stuff going with Super Mustang 9, because that is what I originally created Super Mustang 9 to talk about, was cars. So if you want to go check that channel out, check it. I'll put a link or annotation up here eventually. And if you want to check out more of my videos, I'll put some link. Yeah, just click that subscribe button. I make videos every once in a while, so it might not show up in your subscription box. Please don't abandon me, though. If I don't come up in your subscription box for a while, and don't be afraid to check out mbjblogme.blogspot.com. That link will be in the description below. Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested to see how this works out. Anyways, guys, don't forget to check me out on Twitch. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch, guys. And if you want to come join me playing Town of Salem, when I'm live on Twitch, I'm on Town of Salem. So you guys can feel free to come join me. I'll probably at one point invite you to a game if I want to create a custom game and I have enough views. So anyways, guys, that is my time for today. Stay bomby.